gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host, Saieed. We do want to thank you for joining us tonight, viewers. It's Monday night here in Trinidad and Tobago. A lot has been happening over the weekend. A lot happened today in our country. But nevertheless, you give God thanks for where you are, what you are, and life goes on, as we should see. A National Day of Prayer and Reflection instead of the usual celebration. Fire One Fireworks has announced that all its outlets will remain closed on Independence Day. My mistake, viewers. Closed on Independence Day. The company said the move was taken out of respect for the observance and in solidarity with citizens during the state of emergency. It also welcomed the government's decision to limit independence celebration to silence fireworks for private use, nothing that these products already part of its line, are designed to reduce noise impact on the elderly, pets, and other sensitive groups while meeting international safety standards. So that was the message, viewers, from Fire One Fireworks. That's an update. Also, another update, former government minister Dr. Lenny Said died on Monday morning. The announcement was made by opposition leader Penelope Beckles during a PNM media conference on Monday. Beckles paid tribute by remembering the former government minister as a humble, diligent, and soft-spoken man.
He received the Eric Williams Medal of Honor, and to his wife, relatives on behalf of the People's National Movement, and no doubt the people of Trinidad and Tobago, we extend our condolences as someone who served Trinidad and Tobago as a very humble but as a very dedicated.
And Tobago. He passed away at his home in Sumada Gardens, San Fernando. Details surrounding his death have yet to be released. So, viewers, we're moving on to some current affairs news now. Former Prime Minister Dr. Saieed Ali has blasted Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar for her announcement that her government supports a U.S. military presence in the Caribbean and would allow warship access to Trinidad and Tobago if Venezuela attacks Guyana. In a Facebook post, Dr. Ali accused the PM of abandoning decades of regional diplomacy and aligning with Washington Monroe's document. He recalled in 2019 when CARICOM leaders rejected ultimates engaged in UN and spearhead according that brought Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, and Guyana, Ifran Ali, face-to-face moves, he argued, prevented war and calm tension. Meanwhile, former National Security Minister Gary Griffith believes Trinidad and Tobago stands to benefit from its alignment with the United States as tension between Washington and Caracas continue to escalate. He cautioned, however, against what he described as continuous speculation, warning that unverified commitment could fuel misinformation and public concerns.
We need to be very careful, and if it is that their intention is to do to Trinidad and Tobago the same that they intend to do to Guyana, and they are allies of Trinidad and Tobago that could protect Trinidad and Tobago, I am stating let us utilize it properly, because information can be filtered into the public to falsely mislead them into thinking the wrong thing. So I need us to be very careful. We must not be operating based on emotion. We need to do it based on logic.
So, viewers, now that the Prime Minister previously indicated that her government does not intend to engage CARICOM on this matter. So, viewers, one thing I want to say, and I will continue to say it, the United States does not have any war or beef with Trinidad, neither Guyana, neither the Caribbean countries. They made it very clear that they are sending warships, marine individuals, to the CARICOM, to the Caribbean. Why are they sending military soldiers and ships and aircraft in the Caribbean? To combat the cartels that are shipping illegal drugs, guns and ammunition into the United States. Donald Trump made it clear. So I don't know if Brown is not hearing properly. I don't know what beef Keith have with Kamala. But at the end of the day, I want you all to understand, our former Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, was doing business with a minister that has been sanctioned. His whole country has been sanctioned. But yet they continue to do business. So why now is Keith Rowley blabbering his mouth when they know what they were doing? You all remember when we had the COVID and restrictions were placed on boat and planes in Trinidad and Tobago? Who came into Trinidad and Tobago? And Dr. Rowley said, well, I didn't know who come on the plane. The head of the Security Council back then didn't even know who come into Trinidad on that plane. Who they came to meet? The Prime Minister, former Prime Minister. Who they came to meet? Stuart Young. Who did they come to meet? Ministers from the PNM administration. You all forgot that. So why now is Dr. Rowley in defense of Venezuela? I want you all to keep in mind, when Dr. Rowley government was running Trinidad and Tobago, they picked up $1 million and gave to Maduro, and we haven't received our head pin as yet. I want you all to remember that. But Stuart Young is demanding, Amy Brown is demanding, they are all demanding from Kamala. What are they demanding exactly? Ask yourself, what is it that they are demanding? They are demanding that the US don't attack Venezuela? That's not our business. And we must understand that. If you all listen to Donald Trump and his administration, they are not going to war with the countries. They are going to war with the drug cartels. So why can't Dr. Rowley make it clear for Trinidad and Tobago? Why can't Stuart Young, a former Minister of National Security, makes it very clear? Why can't he say that the Donald Trump administration is sending troops in the Caribbean to combat what? To combat the drug cartels and drug distribution and illegal gun distribution to the United States. That is their purpose. Or is it something more that Keith Rowley knows that Kamala and Trinidad and Tobago doesn't know? I don't know. I don't know. Do they know something? Huh? Does they know something that we don't know? Trinidad and Tobago. I'm going to tell you something. For 9 years, gangs in Trinidad and Tobago have run amok. Run amok. Earlier didn't do anything about that because I was the head of the police force. She didn't do anything. The ministers of national security didn't do anything under the PNM administration. Nothing happened. So the United States now decide, you know what? We're sending Marines in the Caribbean. Brown have a problem with that. Amy Brown have a problem with that. Stuart Young have a problem with that. Keith Rowley have a problem with that. Why do you all have a problem with that? You all didn't even solve the crime in Trinidad and Tobago. But you all have a problem with our president sending their troops to combat drug cartels in the Caribbean, preventing them from shipping illegal cargoes into the US. You all have a problem with that. They should pick up all you. They should pick up all if you all have a problem with it. You see, Trinidad and Tobago, we need to understand. We used to leave our doors open and our windows open and our homes were safe. Today, we are spending X amount of dollars in building our house, our home, our castle as a jailhouse. Imagine you inside your house, in the comfort of your home, and your burglar proof had to be locked. Your doors had to be closed. Your windows had to be shut with burglar proof, making sure that a bull cutter can't even cut the burglar proof. That is where we are now. But we studied what Keith Rowley saying. We studied what Stuart Young saying. The outer power is still demanding. When there wasn't power, they didn't do. But the outer power are demanding now. Such a sad, sad, sad thing, yes? But nevertheless, moving on, viewers. Former Top Cop Gary Griffith has described the U.S. military presence in Southern Caribbean as neither unprecedented nor surprising. On Saturday, the government declared full support for the U.S. military deployment in the Caribbean to combat drug cartels. The office of the Prime Minister said no U.S. request has been made to use Trinidad territory against Venezuela, reaffirming good relation with the Venezuelan people. However, it confirms that if Venezuela attacks Guyana and the U.S. seeks access to defend Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago will grant it. It's obvious. It's obvious. Dr. Keith Rowley, I believe they forgot the agreement that they signed. They forgot the agreement that they signed. But nevertheless, Trinidad and Tobago, let's just hope that it don't come to that. Griffith stressed that this is not the first time a situation like this has occurred. Griffith.
We all welcome this then, as it involved U.S. having military presence, especially their naval arm visiting different areas in their Southern Command, which included the Caribbean, to be involved in assisting the region in combating transnational crime.
Transnational crime. Nothing is wrong with the U.S. having military aircraft or ships or submarine in the Caribbean Sea. We don't own the sea. Dr. Rowley don't own the sea. Venezuela don't own the sea. Neither does Guyana. So they are free to travel. Caller, good night. Hello?
Yeah, good night, Saeed.
Go right ahead, you're live.
Yeah, good night. Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome, salam.
My contribution is this. I don't agree with Dr. Rowley, but I don't agree that the reason U.S. is in Venezuela is because of drug cartels. I believe that they are there for something more sinister, which is to set up things in place for oil. That is why they are invading Venezuela. For the purpose of oil, not drug cartel. Drug cartel is just an excuse, to be honest with you. I mean, there's only time will tell, because look at simple as Afghanistan. When they raid Afghanistan, they raid Afghanistan to eliminate the Taliban. Not too long after they leave the Afghanistan country, what happened? Taliban take back over. So who were they fighting? So this cartel is just a big ploy or a big face to actually raid the oil. Only time will tell. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you, my friend. Now, viewers, recalling his tenure as Security Minister, Griffith says, if the U.S. is concerned about armed conflict with other countries, Trinidad has a lot to offer to the United States. Griffith.
I traveled on a few occasions to U.S. Southcom at their request when they asked for us to have a Trinidad and Tobago military representative stationed there to assist in joint intelligence sharing, which we agreed to. And there were a few other critical assets that we can provide that will be of immense value to the United States if they become involved in any major conflict with other bodies in the region to deal with transnational organized crime.
So viewers, we are going for a short commercial break, but when we come back, Brown's PM statement unfortunate. Again, what did Brown do for Trinidad and Tobago? Huh? More when we return.
We'll be right back.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtalk Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtalk Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
At Realtalk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the glaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Realtalk Financing is offering you 5% on a fixed deposit for 5 years and over with upfront interest. Contact our central office at 238-6716 or our San Fernando office at 242-9944. You don't want to miss this great opportunity. Invest today and watch your investment work for you.
Throws you a curveball, and you need a clear path forward. Trust Realtalk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Realtalk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Realtalk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Welcome back.
So welcome back, viewers. So Trinidad and Tobago, we are going into the 63rd independence. And the board of directors for Realtalk Financing and Realtalk Group of Company has came up with an idea for those who want to make fixed deposits, but they are going to release that information Wednesday coming. Trinidad and Tobago, you'll be surprised. You will be surprised. I've been telling you all, I have 30 years experience in the finance industry. And being the director and the leader of a board of directors in a financial institution, let me tell you something. We not just bring in great investment to Trinidad and Tobago, you know. We are bringing investments that others cannot walk in our shoes. Remember that. I have 30 years experience in finance. We have Realtalk Credit Union. We have Realtalk Financing. You're looking for a loan, isn't that a problem? As long as you have some form of collateral for which to hold, we're doing business. Within 24 to 36 hours, you're getting cash in your hand. Normally, we don't really care who you owe, you know. That is not our business. You could owe 100 people. That is between you and 100 people. But the thing is, as long as you have collateral and you come to us, you get an approval, 24, 36 hours. Remember that. So from Wednesday, Real Talk Financing is going to offer something to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago just because of the fact that we are going into the 63rd year of being independence. So viewers, stay tuned and look out for that. Have a call on the line? Call a good night. So, back to our stories. Former Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Amy Brown has accused the government of weakening Trinidad and Tobago foreign policy credibility with contradicting positions on Venezuela and CARICOM. Brown said that within 24 hours, 3 government officials, Foreign Affairs Minister Sean Sobers, Prime Minister Kamala Prasad Bisasa, and Ambassador Ralph Maraj issued 3 bizarre different takes on Venezuela, leaving both nationals and regional audience confused. He said it made a mockery of generations of hard work in building a credible policy or foreign policy for Trinidad and Tobago. Listen to this.
In reality, what these 3 officers of Trinidad and Tobago have been doing is making a mockery of generations of hard work that has gone into crafting and building a credible and respectable foreign policy for this, our beloved nation.
On CARICOM, Brown describes the PM statement as very poorly crafted, with grammatical error and extremely unfortunate. He accused her of showing disregard and even sinister intent towards regional solidarity by declaring that Trinidad and Tobago has not engaged and has not intention of engaging CARICOM on the matter. Listen to this.
Each member state can speak for themselves on this issue. In other words, every country for themselves. Who is she to make such a declaration? Especially when we in this country have worked so hard to uplift and build the profile of the very same CARICOM. And we've always taken our responsibilities extremely seriously. Clearly, she is not. So we as an opposition have to condemn in the clearest possible terms those words and the disregard the Prime Minister of this nation is showing to the Caribbean.
So I want to ask Brown on national television, being a foreign CARICOM minister or foreign affairs minister for the PNF administration, what did you do as a foreign affairs minister to combat drugs? Listen to me carefully. What did you do to combat drugs, human trafficking, illegal guns from coming into Trinidad and Tobago? As a foreign affairs minister, what did you do? What did you do? So because of the fact now that Trump administration is sending Marines to the Caribbean, is it that Brown, is it that you have a problem with that? What did the US say they are going to do? Or are you deaf? I am asking you on national television, since you like to go on a platform and be well spoken of, what did you do to stop the illegal guns, illegal drugs, illegal prostitution, human trafficking? What did you do to help Trinidad and Tobago deal with that? This is what I would like to know. Caller, good night.
Good night, Saieed. You know, I don't know, what is unfortunate? Why is the PNF pro-Venezuela. That man is a dictator, you know. What I'm saying is that the elections, the last 2 elections was not free and fair. If it was free and fair, why is it that so much Venezuelans are being displaced? I think how much we have, about 30-something thousand here in Trinidad. Now what I want this government to do, there is over 100 million US that was paid for the Dragon gas. We want account for it, and I think this is what the Prime Minister, Rahul went into retirement or whatever he's talking, a set of rubbish. Why can't he explain to us what has happened to that 100 million US dollars?
Correct.
And then he want to come on top of that and increase, telephone and electricity and TNTech and all these things. We want to find out where that $3 billion missed from the central bank when they bring some BDO auditor or whatever it is. The law stated that the central bank must be audited by the Auditor General. We want to know these things. We want to know where all the money that was collected from property tax went. This is what we want to know.
Correct.
We want to know who was supporting. You see the crime is? CPEP, URP, reforestation or whatever they call. Several previous commissioners said these are fueling gang activity. This is where the criminal element is. So that is why it is clear now, and the population would not be hoodwinked by the PNM to come and talk this set of rubbish. If the US Army or whoever, the boats and all these things is in international water, that is for our protection from these drug cartels. Why the PNM does not come out and say they are blatant? Because their actions speak louder than words. They're the one who was fueling crime that over how much thousands of our citizens have died. Why this man don't want to stay quiet in retirement? I don't know if they are that shameless enough to come out now and be pro-Venezuela. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, my friend. So Trinidad and Tobago, Brown, he accused her of showing disregard and even sinister intent towards regional solidarity. Really, Brown? So the US decided to send troops to Trinidad and Tobago, and you blaming Kamala. You are on the opposition and you're still blaming Kamala. PNM administration governed Trinidad and Tobago for 9 years and still blame Kamala. There are drugs coming in Trinidad and Tobago, illegal prostitution, human trafficking, marijuana, cocaine, contraband. You know what I expected Brown to do? Being a former minister of foreign affairs. Even though that you are on the opposition, you could have stand with the United States when they made the statement that they are sending ships, Marines, to the Caribbean to combat drug cartel. Why didn't you stand based on that line? Why didn't you stand with the US? Nobody. Thing is, Brown, you can't stand with the US because Stuarty and Keith were dancing in Venezuela with Maduro. So Brown, why don't you come and tell Trinidad and Tobago what the $1 million US was for? Since we haven't gotten our pin, and since that was taxpayers' money spent, why don't you come out and tell Trinidad and Tobago about that? Since you are the foreign, or was a foreign affairs minister for Trinidad and Tobago, why can't you come out and say something about that? Oh, it's non-disclosure agreement. Yeah, right. Yeah, we all hear about non-disclosure and non-disclosure and non-disclosure. It's sad, Brown. It's sad. All you blaming Kamala. All you couldn't combat drug cartel from coming in Trinidad and Tobago. You all couldn't stop human trafficking, drugs, guns, ammunition, contraband. You all couldn't stop it from coming Trinidad and Tobago. But President in the US took a stand and you vex. What you vex for? So Brown, where's your family living in Trinidad? Have they ever been under a robbery or a home invasion or somebody threatened to kill them? Have you ever been in that situation? Well, I could tell you I have been in those situations many times. Many times. My son was almost kidnapped. So Brown, when you on a platform and you start to talk tata like what you're doing, I will put you in your place. As a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, as a businessman, as a TV host, and as a public figure, I will do you that. If you want to go to court, I have no problem, you know. I have absolutely no problem with that. Because the questions I will raise to the magistrate, I hope you could answer it. I hope you could answer it. Call a good night.
Good night, Mr. Said. Great program, great fiery topic, man. You're very fiery and it's obvious, man, knowing what's happening. But anyway, the Red Dangerous Destructive Organization. Shame on all of them because the world told us years ago about this organization are funding criminals with their activity and criminal behavior in this country. So you think they want to stop it? Because a large portion of the citizens and in this country who are aligned to the Red Dangerous Destructive but they are involved in crime, so you think they want to stop it? How guns are coming in and things? You think they want to stop that and stop crime? They want crime in this country because they're lawyer friends that milk this country of billions of dollars since they were there. They want to continue that because crime is the most lucrative business in this country. Everybody knows that. Anyway, Mr. Said, I think you know the Petit Cafe Junction very well because you pass on this area. 2 Saturdays ago, you had 3 police officers stop in front of food place here on the Petit Cafe Junction. They ordered food, and while they ordered food, they went out there and issued about 15 tickets to people. You know what? Seatbelt, they issue a ticket to a man, a little paint come out on the number plate and issue a ticket. That man crying, you know, that man stand up there, shock, he can't move, you know. Tell me that's a crime, eh? So I said, now boy, this can't be right. They issue 2 seatbelts, and the seatbelts are defective, right? They had on the seatbelt, but the side of it, you know, as you're pulling it, it will rip and kind of look like if it's, but they're defective. The seatbelt nothing wrong with it, right? So they issue 2 days, you for a tire, and the rest was for not having your vehicle inspected. And after I sit down and say, how this happened in this country? You know what happened? I realized they have a toy. They get a toy to play with, and we must not lose focus. Citizens don't lose focus in this country. That toy they're playing with, it's a cost to us, you know, because that toy is using a data circuit. I don't know who is the provider, if it's digital or B-Mobile is the provider for that little instrument they have in there, and that toy that they're playing with. So I said, this is the problem here, because they couldn't write out tickets, because they can't read, they can't write and spell, they couldn't write out tickets, so now they get a toy, and in a minute they are printing a ticket to give to the citizens. So here is where the problem is, and we must now demand from the government and Mr. Dako, what is the cost to print 1 ticket, because they have to use that data circuit, right? So Mr. Said, we will keep focus on this, and I know you will keep focus, and citizens don't lose your focus, right? Let us focus on the issue here. Don't study what's happening out in the ocean there. Mr. Said, God bless you. We will keep focus, and you keep up this great work you are doing.
So Trinidad and Tobago, Brown urged that the position was reckless and undermined regional unity at a time when efforts were underway to build CARICOM census. So Trinidad and Tobago, I'll tell you this. Like I said, the right is the right, the wrong is the wrong. I don't stand with no political party. What I do, I hold ministers accountable in position for offering up themselves. What they are doing is spending taxpayers' money. None of the money that government spends belong to them. Their salary is taxpayers' money. Hence the reason why I just be like this with them. Demanding from them. You offered up yourself to be a public figure, to be a minister, to represent Trinidad and Tobago, and instead of Trinidad and Tobago go up the ladder, we're going down the ladder, while you all benefiting. While you all benefiting from the position that you are in. Tax break. Can the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago enjoy tax break? No, they can't. Who enjoys it? The ministers. The ministers that we, the citizens, vote them in. Remember how Dr. Rowley was with the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago? Blunt and rough. He retired from politics and still acts as if he's prime minister. You resign, go home and rest. You was governing Trinidad and Tobago for 9 years and we did not reach anywhere better. The roads are deplorable. Schools, no different from 10 years back, 20 years back. It's sad. Health and education, down the line. Security, oh God, well, don't talk. We have some boats parked up doing nothing. Is our water secure? I want to ask Amy Brown that. Call her good night.
Good night, Saieed.
Go right ahead.
Okay. Firstly, Keith Rowley, just go somewhere and lie down and disappear now, man. You're out of the damn politics. You destroy this country. You want to come and dictate now for this prime minister and tell you what to do, how to run this country? When you are responsible for the crisis that this country is in today? Saieed, you remember some time ago, I think it was last year, when Keith Rowley called on the American government and he asked for this support from Mexico and what else next, to ask the American government to help curb the drugs and the crime and the guns that they coming into the Caribbean and the Trinidad and Tobago side?
Yes.
Right. That's one. Two, I want to show you the hypocrisy of these CARICOM leaders. Saieed, are you ready?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Right. When Maduro threatened Guyana and want to invade with the Esquibo thing, you hear any CARICOM leaders and them support Guyana? No, they didn't. I'm going to tell you why. It has some race play because Irfan Ali is an Indian in Guyana and Kamala Zappos is an Indian in Trinidad. This is why they didn't they're not going to support the Caribbean Court of Justice, because you know why. But what is even strange, Keith Rowley, Penelope Beckers and all of them call in and say, why can't we sit down and meet with CARICOM leaders before taking a position to support America? But you heard what Kamala Prasad said? Even before she made that statement of supporting America, Saieed, some of the CARICOM leaders had already made a pronouncement and criticized America for coming here.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you, my friend. So Trinidad and Tobago, I will tell you something. No CARICOM countries will oppose the United States in sending carriers to the Caribbean to combat drug cartels. Because if we cannot do it and the US can do it, by all means let them do it. Because we had administration running Trinidad and Tobago for 9 years. And what happened? We reached at a point where we were even scared to go out and line. We were even scared to go out on a Friday night with the family because you don't know when you could be carjacked. You don't know when you could get robbed. You go to the bank, they're watching you. You go to the grocery, they're watching you. You go to a bar to take a little drink, they're watching you. That is the state where we were. And we are presently still there. But Amy Brown have a problem. Dr. Rowley couldn't fix crime in Trinidad and Tobago. Dr. Rowley couldn't stop illegal guns from coming in Trinidad and Tobago. Couldn't stop illegal immigrants from coming in Trinidad and Tobago. Couldn't stop human trafficking from Trinidad and Tobago. Couldn't stop cocaine coming in Trinidad and Tobago. But you have a problem with Kamala siding with the U.S. Marines. To fix it, you have a problem with that. It's sad. Trinidad and Tobago, it's sad. You can see now who wants to fix Trinidad and who's against fixing Trinidad. I want to tell you something. Every minister in this country, whether you're ruling or on the opposite side, they have bodyguards. Do you have any at your home? Ask yourself that. Ask yourself that. Before you pick a side, ask yourself, what is your position on your daily life? What is your position on your weekly salary, on your fortnight salary, on your monthly salary? Ask yourself how far you have to stretch your dollar every time a new tax come out. Ask yourself that. And then, Trinidad and Tobago, ask yourself what you intend to do about your situation. Let me tell you something, not your neighbor's situation. Ask yourself what you intend to do about your situation. If you want to fix your situation, your household, and then start with it. Too much drugs gone in the Caribbean and Trinidad and Tobago. Who is fixing it? Minister come, minister go, and it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Over and over and over. Can Amy Brown fix it? He had a chance. What did he do? Dr. Rowley had a chance, being the Prime Minister for 9 years, the head of the Security Council for 9 years. What did you do? It became more terrible. So like I said, Trinidad and Tobago, this new government came in. Let me tell you something. You see the 4th and the 5th and the 6th month going down the line, you're going to start to hear me asking the Minister of Foreign Affairs what he do. You will hear me asking Minister of National Security, what are you doing for Trinidad and Tobago? You will hear me asking Dowlett, what are you doing for education? You're going to hear me asking Health Minister, what is the situation with the health? What you plan to do? You're going to hear me. 4, 5, 6 months, you're going to hear it. So, we are going for a short commercial break, viewers, but when we come back, TNT face fallout as Kamala supports. More when we return.
We'll be right back.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan? Only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtalk Report Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtalk Report Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the blaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real public concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Real Talk Financing is offering you 5% on a fixed deposit for 5 years and over
with upfront interest.
Contact our central office at 238-6716 or our San Fernando office at 242-9944. You don't want to miss this great opportunity. Invest today and watch your investment work for you.
Throws you a curveball, and you need a clear path forward. Trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
welcome back.
So welcome back to Real Talk viewers. Caller, good night.
Good night, sir.
Go right ahead.
Yes. Recently, sir, under the PNM regime, they had a meeting with all CARICOM heads in Trinidad, spent over $3 million to host these leaders and to talk about guns and human trafficking and drugs in a big way. And everybody went back to their country, had a good time in Trinidad. Nothing happened.
Correct.
I do not know why these PNM leaders don't stay quiet and leave the woman with her dream and her vision. She's a true leader.
I believe that was the last symposium the PNM kept.
Yes, over $3 million.
Correct.
To host these leaders,
Yes.
and they went home and they sleep on the pillow on it. Nothing happened. If Guyana is in conflict, who next? What CARICOM have to defend their own selves? They don't even have a fishing boat. What we talking?
Thank you,
These
Mike.
guys, and they're not ready. Thank God the PNM is not in power today.
Thank you, my friend.
God bless you.
So viewers, this is why I say you have to understand what position you're in. Remember, you have kids coming up. I have kids coming up. Why are you guys fighting so hard? I have kids coming up. I want them to live in a better Trinidad and Tobago, that they must be able to walk the road without having to look back. They can leave their front door open without having to worry which bandit running in. That is why I am fighting so hard for Trinidad and Tobago. That is why I fund my own program. Not to just be a public... Let me tell you something. I could live a happy, comfortable life and I work hard every day, you know. I don't have to be a guy on TV, you know. But the thing is, who would stand? Who would stand? And as very few people decide to take the stand and go against ministers. PNM was here for 9 years. They come and they're gone. Look, I here 8 years now. 8 years now, and I still doing my thing. Trying to make Trinidad and Tobago better, highlighting issues with the police, the Coast Guard, the regiment, highlighting health, highlighting school, highlighting security, highlighting road, highlighting cost of living, highlighting crime. We do all these things. We bring it to your attention what needs fixing. And we are also putting ministers on spots. We have gotten a lot of cave land, landslide, water leaks, road, bridges, incidents, crime incidents that happen in Trinidad and Tobago. We have done a lot. We have contributed a lot to society. A lot. And I am going to continue doing that as long as I can. So moving along, international relations experts have stated that Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Biss's decision to back any impending United States action against Venezuela could have dire consequences for this country, including making TNT a target in any conflict. Director at the Institute of International Relations, Dr. Anthony Gonzalez, said while he welcomed the U.S. effort to intercept drug cartel in the Caribbean, he was concerned about Prime Minister's offer to give access to American force. Listen to this.
We have struggled here to get the Americans out of this country here. We fought in the 60s to get rid of the American base here. Why are you inviting the Americans here?
So Trinidad and Tobago. Meanwhile, Jamaica professor Christopher Charles warned Persad-Biss's against isolating TNT from its Caribbean neighbors. He cautioned that global power act primarily in pursuit of their own national interests, further advising that the arrival of 3 U.S. warships could pave the way for U.S. intervention in Venezuela. Listen to this.
We have struggled here to get the Americans out of this country.
I think the Trinidadian Prime Minister and the government in general is really playing up to Trump to ensure that whatever he does Trinidad and Tobago comes out on the side that is much better than others. There are gangs in all Caribbean territories, and they have transnational linkages with cartels in Mexico and Colombia and all over the place. So why the Venezuelans cartels? We are opening up ourselves to further aggression.
Trinidad and Tobago also contacted Venezuelan, my mistake, also contacted the St. Vincent and Grenadine Prime Minister, Dr. Ralph Gonzalez, told news media that a collective Caribbean response to the matter was essential, emphasizing that importance of regional consultation on security matters. So I want to ask the Jamaican professor, and Dr. Anthony Gonzalez, if the U.S. military came to you and asked of you for permission to use your border or your land to go against criminals in the Caribbean that is also maybe sending drugs to your country, would you grant them access? That is my question. That is my question. And I also want to ask members of CARICOM and ministers in the Caribbean country, do you all feel safer now that the U.S. Marine is in the Caribbean trying to counteract drug cartels? Do you feel safer? So I want to ask Dr. Amory Brown, a former minister of Foreign Affairs, if the U.S. military asks you for permission to dock in Trinidad to fight cartels from sending drugs to Trinidad and Tobago, which our Coast Guard couldn't patrol and keep away, our police force can't keep them off the streets, would you let them come to Trinidad and dock? Or will you go against that? That is my question to you, Dr. Amory, and to also the Jamaican professor, and to also Anthony Gonzalez. You see, I'll tell you something. Each minister looks after their own country. Who is looking after Trinidad and Tobago? Who is looking after the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago's safety? Look at where school bullying has reached. Look at the state of it. Did the former Minister of Education did anything to fix the problem? Ask yourself that. How many parents had to go in school to deal with school bullies? How many? How many of you are safe to say that, you know what, I could leave my house open and I could walk down the road and come back? How many of you could do that? I'm not picking sides, but I'm relating something to you all. I cannot leave my house open. You know why? Because of the way crime is and home invasion is in Trinidad and Tobago. So I will try to fix it. That's the reason why I always tell anybody on television, jump my fence. I'm going to tell you something, they're coming and picking up in our body bag, I don't want to hear mommy say her son was good, If your son was good, what he doing in my property? I never tell him come in. If I stand your ground legislation taking too long to come into effect. Because I know me, jumping into nobody's property. I know me, going to rob nobody. I know me, going to pull no gun for nobody. But if you pull a gun for me, make sure you shoot because if that snap, mine will snap. So Trinidad and Tobago, you take your stand. You take your stand. Dr. Rowley said, if you're going to release God for everybody, Trinidad will become like the wild, wild west. So what you're going to tell a citizen whose home has been broken into, wife raped, daughter raped, grandmother 79 years old and raped, what are you going to tell them? What are you going to tell them? When 4 or 5 bandits have illegal firearm, what you going to tell that family? It's sad, you know. It's sad. It's really sad. So viewers, as we continue tonight, the increase in US tariff rates of 15% took effect on our economy from August 7th. Economist Dr. Arjun have stated that a large impact will be felt in the foreign exchange market as price in the US increase because of these tariffs. We can expect a decrease in the ease of business. Listen to this.
Foreign exchange access to be able to import these same quantities. That would mean that given the tight foreign exchange supply, the tight foreign exchange market in the banking system that we have been faced with for several years, it means that we could find several businesses having no choice but to increase the amount that they purchase in the black market. And if the demand for black market foreign exchange to be able to afford these more expensive items in the United States goes up, then it means that the black market rate in itself could possibly increase, because when the demand for black market forex increases, the black market suppliers could very well push up the price.
Now viewers, Dr. Arjun noted that there are several solutions to the problem, including negotiation for tariff reduction. He says the Prime Minister has assured a team is looking at the situation closely. Dr. Arjun.
Aim to secure tariff reductions, a reduction in this 15%, especially as it pertains to export commodity. Our main export to them, which is the energy commodities, also chemicals, manufactured products, processed foods, for example, that we would export to them also. We have to meet them halfway by some kind of offering reciprocal preferential market access to U.S. products, particularly by lowering the import duties that we levy on U.S. imports.
So Trinidad and Tobago, we are out of time for tonight, but nevertheless, viewers, you know, I am here night after night, Monday to Friday, giving you all the updates, solution, situation that is happening in Trinidad and Tobago, and we look for the best possible way to bring it across to you for you to understand. You know, I just want to say thank God that this year will make it 9 years. I'm on television, giving God thanks for that. 9 solid years. And we're going to continue here for the next 9 or 10 years, maybe more. You understand? So viewers, until then, be safe and enjoy it.